Hey, what's up, y'all? This is it's Brandon Webb. As you can see, not ashamed or afraid to show you my first and last name. I am a singer slash dancer slash performer. I've acted and stuff. Most of the stuff I've acted in was live theater. Wasn't anything major in film or anything like that, not yet. Anyway, I've done songwriting. I'm also a musician. I've done a number of different open mics and stuff like that. But I planned on doing something as an introduction, just to introduce myself to everybody, and I hadn't done that yet. So this is going to be that video. I just saw some stuff on YouTube, and I started rambling and going on and on and on and on about some stuff that was on my mind that had made me upset. But I'm 21 years old. I'm in Florida. I've been performing at different places for like a year now. I've met a number of different musicians and stuff like that, and I'm trying to network more and meet more people. That's one of the reasons why I'm using YouTube. I want to use this as an avenue to help me to make it. And I don't plan on doing it like a Justin Bieber or something like that, because I think that that's one in a million. Plus, I don't think that you should even make it like that. I think you should have to. Pay your dues. I think you should have to pay your dues, and I don't think just night and day going from no one knowing you to everybody knowing you. I don't think that that's right. I'm trying to get a whole experience, going, because I believe that all human beings are connected. That's why at the end of my videos I always say connect. I feel that everybody is connected, seeing as how we are a creation of God. And if you are an atheist, you atheists gonna have to bear with me for a minute, but it says in the beginning, when God molded Adam, that he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils and he became a human being. So all of us have souls and spirits that dwell within us. And it says in the word that our bodies are our temple. It's our temple for our soul. And seeing as how we all come from God, even the devil made himself what he was, but that's another suitcase in another hall. It's a different conversation. That's something else. He's also a part of God, but he made himself what he was. But I digress from that. We are all a part of God, and seeing as how he is all our Heavenly Father, we are all connected. And I believe that if more people began to see each other like that, then there would be less dissension, less separation, and less hatred towards other people. People wouldn't look at someone gay and say, oh, that's a faggot. People wouldn't look at someone black and say, oh, that's a nigger. People wouldn't look at someone who was Asian and say, oh, that's a fucking chink. People wouldn't look at a white boy and say, oh, he's a fucking cracker, peckerwood, racist, or something like that. That would be the last thing that came to their minds. But what we would have to begin to do is to challenge people. We have to challenge people, because the media is constantly throwing at us images and telling us how to feel, telling us how to think, telling us what we should like, what we shouldn't like, who we should like, who we shouldn't like, what we should be into, what we shouldn't be into. As soon as we begin to see someone telling us how it is we should feel towards our brother or our sister, then immediately we should jump in. And I feel that even if it doesn't fit your demographic, you should still jump in. Like me as a black male, if I saw somebody picking on somebody Muslim because they were Muslim, oh, your dad's a fucking terrorist, fuck you, I'm gonna say, yo, no, fuck you, dude. What the fuck is your problem? You don't fucking know him like that. And then maybe that would shatter an image, a negative image of black people that he had. See, once upon a time, because of the amount of BS that you have to deal with, especially within the United States pertaining to race, myself as a black man, I was beginning to wonder if all white people were racist. This was before I really got into music. I think I was 10 or 11. And then, yes, music right there. It brings people together. That's why I put it up there. But then I started to look up different forms of music as I started to learn how to play different instruments. And I came across, of course, the Beatles. Paul McCartney sung and played songs with a number of songs with Michael Jackson. And if you sung with Michael Jackson or anything like that, then you're all right in my book. I'm a big MJ fan. And I was really getting into his philosophies, and and the way that he thought and stuff like that. And I heard him say woman is the nigga of the world. I said, oh, hold on. He said the word nigga. You know how black people are about stuff like that. And although I don't appreciate him saying the word nigger in his songs, because he's a white man and he doesn't really understand that pain completely and fully, I can appreciate that he does, to a certain extent, understand the word. So his meaning behind the song was saying that in all different societies and stuff like that, the woman is always beneath, whether it's black culture in Africa, in Europe, in Canada, especially right here in this part of the States. I mean the South, the woman is always in the back seat. And we all know, literally once upon a time blacks had to sit in the back seat of the bus. But the fact that he understood that, and he stood so boldly and so firm in a time where anyone standing up against racism could have been killed. You can still be killed now, but he so boldly and so firmly and so steadfastly stood against it. So even though I was experiencing pain and that was my way of dealing with it, damn, all white people racist, I looked at him and I said, that's my brother. I didn't see him as a white man I didn't see him as a white man any longer, because he was able to shatter that image that I was starting to create in my brain from the pain that I had experienced. This was a white man standing up for someone who didn't fit his demographic. So even if you can't have children, or even if you're a man and you're not a woman, of course, you see a woman getting raped, are you not going to run over and help her to the best of your ability? If you see something being done wrong, don't say that doesn't have anything to do with me, so I'm not going to do anything. If you can lend a hand or speak up or use your voice, then you should speak it. Even if I don't agree with you, never remain silent, because you're forfeiting your God-given right to speak your piece. And I really, really believe with all my heart that all people, to a certain extent, are connected. And I believe if more people thought this way, then there would be less murder, there'd be less stealing, and there would also be less of something that's been happening a lot recently, less suicides. There's that young boy who was gay, who killed himself. That was our brother. That was a part of us. He was bullied. He turned to people for help. People turned their back on him again and again and again and again. And I heard it's disgusting. Even now in death, he still gets made fun of, and that's beyond sick. Something like that would make me snap. You see a completely different side of me, because wickedness and evilness and such a lack of love for someone else makes me sick. If you don't care about somebody, that's one thing, but to go to the extent to have to make somebody feel like shit in order to feel like something yourself, I think is disgusting. It almost seems like it's too much for me mentally to deal with. So I plan on speaking at different schools. I'm going to be singing at a number of different elementary schools and things of that nature, just to spread this message, because a number of my songs have a message about suicide and depression, and they also speak on happiness and love and things of that nature. But life is not always like that. You have to, since art is an imitation of life, you have to give the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to talk about all that. I myself I'm someone who experienced depression, and I thought about and almost attempted suicide because I was picked on when I was 14 and 15 and 16. I weighed over 300 pounds. Now I'm still big. I'm not nearly that big, but I weighed 307 pounds, and I had to fight my ass off in order to lose that weight. I was eating and I was internalizing and taking in everything because I felt so sorry for myself. I grew up predominantly in a white neighborhood. Fat boy, acne on his face. You can imagine the names that I got called, and yes, nigga was one of them. But as I look back, I think that because racism is something that's taught and it's not something that a person is born with, he is disconnecting by not seeing me as his brother, and that's something that he's gonna have to give account for. But I feel like other blacks, don't let that stop you. Don't let that break you, because if you do that, you're separating yourself from God. And if there's one thing you need in this life, it's the Most High, Jehovah God. You can't let that get you to the point where you turn on a whole other race of people, because black, white, Hispanic, be they Asian, Saudi Arabian, if they're an Eskimo, if they're from South America, that is your brother. Whether you know it, whether you accept it, whether you hate it or love it, that is your brother. And you are supposed to be your brother's keeper. But as I said, I got a lot of inspiration from Mr. John Lennon. And I look forward to putting some music videos up. I plan on doing that as well. And like I said, I also do poetry. So I'm going to record whenever I do something. And even when I speak or something like that, because I'm going to be doing street performances as well. And I'm going to be letting everybody know whenever I'm doing something. I'm going to leave you on this note for tonight. I'm going to sing a little something from my friend John. Haven't rehearsed. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people, listen, living for today. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Connect.